Another video. This is a video I'm going to make. It may be very controversial, um, but it's the truth, and it's not to humiliate light-skinned brothers and things like that. But we have to talk about. We're going to talk about this guy Malcolm X a little bit. I'm not going to go too deep into Malcolm X. I'm just going to talk on the surface level, and I call it the light skin crash dummy series. And I remember years ago, back in 2020, 2021. And Kwame Brown actually said that about light-skinned brothers. He basically said that light-skinned brothers who think they black are nothing but crash dummies for us. And ever since he said that, it pretty much resonated with my spirit because when he was going down the line of stuff, he got no backlash for what he said about light-skinned brothers at all. And he basically admitted that they make y'all do that. They make light-skinned brothers do dirty work for them, just to turn around and spit in their face. The brother Kwame Brown was saying that, light-skinned dudes who are always angriest because we tortured them growing up. And he'll make these statements and nobody had an issue with it. Like, it was amazing to me how nobody was calling this out. The only female that I seen that called it out was a black female, a dark-skinned female. And I feel like she was doing it out of spite. Not necessarily because she cared about light-skinned guys. So, because at that time period, there was, it was the black female, black male thing was very high. It still is very high, the beef. But she was doing it because to point out the hypocrisy of black men. And she said that if Kwame Brown was lighter skinned, then we'd be calling him emotional for going off on Matt Barnes and what he did. Because if you actually look at Matt Barnes didn't really do anything to Kwame Brown. All he did was allegedly he tapped his somebody, I guess Steven Jackson's leg, and he just went berserk. And he went crazy on Matt Barnes, the worst to me. Like, he got personal. He talked about his family and how he was mixed. Like, he went in on Matt Barnes. And the reason why he felt comfortable doing so is because he understood we live in a time period where it's okay to publicly humiliate light-skinned brothers. And it's really always been the thing in the so-called black community. That's why they're so bold with it. But now globally, it's become accepted, and that's always been dark-skinned black people's agenda, is to publicly humiliate light-skinned men and it's just their jealousy. All right? And we're going to talk about this cat, Malcolm X, and I'm not going to go deep. It's just a short video. You can see this hand sign he's doing. He's letting you know that he's in the know. It could be for the mother goddess, the Eye of Hathor. But that's another topic for another day. But we're going to talk about Malcolm X's mother and how his mother pretty much made him a light-skinned crash dummy. And I remember they allegedly they were spying on Malcolm X, and Malcolm X, when they observed Dr. King and Malcolm X was more spiritual. He was more, allegedly, he did everything that a leader was supposed to do. He was very clean cut, and he didn't get in no trouble. But when they studied Dr. King, who was a globalist, he did the complete opposite. Allegedly, he was having orgies, and the brother Charleston White even talked about it. He was having orgies and with men and women. And he was doing all type of degenerate stuff, or stuff you say that's fun. And the reason I bring that up is because light-skinned brothers, we don't have any room for error because we're so scrutinized. And I feel like light-skinned brothers take pro-blackness way too seriously. They take pro-blackness way more than actual black people, dark-skinned people. While dark-skinned people, they just bullshit around. They don't really care about what the hell they're talking about. And that's what the brother W.E. Du Bois, I believe it was the book I read a while ago. Was it W.E. Du Bois? Or who was it? I think it was the Talented 10th. Whoever did the Talented 10th. And they were saying, like, you can't really help black people because they feel comfortable in the pit they're in. You can't help them out of captivity because they feel comfortable in the pit. And they don't want to come out of it. But a lot of light-skinned brothers, back to what I'm saying, take themselves and this pro-black stuff too seriously. And they take it more seriously than actual black people, dark-skinned people, I should say. And I talked about that earlier, that a lot of light-skinned people are more pro-dark-skinned than dark-skinned people are. They're not pro-dark-skinned at all. They just want you to believe they're pro-dark-skinned. but they're really not. All right, they worship non-dark skinned people, especially white people. But let's get into Malcolm X and his mother, because I actually seen an article on here about Malcolm X's mother, and we're going to read it on the next video that I do. But I'm going to just go through a brief, what I've read so far. And I seen another black lady on this YouTube, and she brought this up because you see the spirit amongst light-skinned women today. It's the same exact spirit on them, that tortured mulatto spirit. And Malcolm X's mother, I believe, was a mixed parentage. She was a mixed parentage, and she felt ashamed of her white side, which is very common with mulatto females. So she got with a black male, and I think Malcolm X's father is darker. To overcompensate, pretty much, to fill that void of her being a half-breed. And, allegedly she hated her white side, and, she became extremely overtly pro-black, and she unfortunately raised her son to be a crash dummy. A lot of light-skinned people, they love fighting dark-skinned people's wars. And white people's wars, but especially darker-skinned black people. They have this save the darkies spirit. I don't know what it is. We have to learn how to stop fighting other people's battles and learn only to how to fight ours. All right? And she raised him up to be, this crash dummy. Even though black people, they respect Malcolm. But, down the line, it's not really, it's not really, like, they don't respect light-skinned brothers as a whole, and the stuff that we've done for them throughout history is what I'm saying. And it's kind of messed up, because if Malcolm X's mother, right, if she's seen a light-skinned brother like Malcolm X, say if it wasn't her son, if she was just back in her day, she wouldn't even give a brother like Malcolm X a chance to probably even to date her or anything, because she wouldn't even view him as a real black man because his skin is not dark. But she would raise up her son, her light-skinned son, to, be extremely overtly pro-black and to hold this black male image up that doesn't even represent him. You see what I'm saying, where I'm going? And I feel like a lot of light-skinned females, especially mixed female, just light-skinned females in general, they raise their light-skinned sons up to hold the black man's image up, while everybody tears down the light-skinned mulatto man's image, and to be a crash dummy. And it baffled me when I watched that Kwame Brown video, because when Kwame Brown was saying all this stuff, nobody cared. I swear to you, like, he literally, like, Kwame Brown is over 7 feet tall, man. He's over 7 feet tall, and he was so cocky with the stuff he was saying. And shout out to Mulatto Vanguard. He had a live stream last night I was into. He was talking about how cocky darker-skinned people are towards light-skinned brothers. And he's right. Like, Kwame Brown was so cocky. It was crazy. And guess what I remember watching that live stream that Kwame Brown was doing on Matt Barnes. And guess who was in the comments laughing at it? Light-skinned women. These light-skinned broads were in the comments laughing. And black people in general were laughing at the fact that Matt Barnes, at Matt Barnes, but laughing at the fact that he used to torture light-skinned dudes. These are their sons that they produce with darker men. Like, it's crazy. Like, that shows you how mentally sick they are. And this was back in like 2021 when I was in that live stream. But he was going in, and it's kind of messed up, because when they diss light-skinned dudes, all they're doing is dissing themselves, because a lot of the vast majority of these light-skinned dudes, they have dark-skinned dads and light-skinned mothers. And it's kind of messed up. They lead them astray like that. They raise them up as children to think that they, part of the collective, and cause that's what a crash dummy is. They just trick you to think you're part of our group. We accept you, but behind closed doors, you're really not behind our group. We just use you to get what we want out of you. Then we just throw you away and completely marginalize you and disregard you. So it's crazy that, he was so bold with that, and like people were on his side with it. Like it was crazy. But yeah, like I'm gonna read the article soon about Malcolm X's mother and how she suffered with a lot of self-hate. A lot of dark-skinned men and light-skinned women have a lot of self-hatred issues, and that's what draws them to each other. And I want to talk. I'm gonna make another video about the complete different pathologies between light skinned men and light skinned women, because our pathologies are completely different. Even though light skinned men, we go through way more pain and suffering than light skinned women, but our pathologies are completely different. But this is a part one. I just want to make this quick video. I'm gonna see you on the next one. Give me your thoughts and your opinions.